All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to this liaison meeting. We're really excited to have this and kind of talk about uh, kind of the expectations of this program and also just kind of how it's been going so far. I'll start by introducing myself. I'm Lauren Freeman. I'm a management analyst at the city of Sun Prairie, Wisconsin. I'm co-presenting with Gabe. Gabe, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Gabe Altenburn, and I'm the communications manager in Cottage Grove. And I'll do the second half.
So I know Tyler has handled kind of a lot of this work beforehand, and we're kind of slowly transitioning into helping him with this. So we're kind of handling this presentation portion. So quickly, I want to go over some of the expectations of this liaison program. The first one being kind of contacting your college or university contact twice per year. I think that's happened in the past so far. But we just wanted to kind of reiterate this is an important kind of piece to this liaison program. So the first contact is in September, and the idea of that is to just kind of create that initial contact, start, talking with students about the profession and get them interested. And then that second contact is in March, and that's really when students are likely thinking about, oh, what am I doing for an internship this summer? Or maybe they're graduating and looking for jobs. So that second contact allows you to start connecting them with kind of job opportunities. When you're reaching out to these contacts, we're hoping that you can ask to connect on campus. I think, in-person meetings are obviously really helpful, and I think it's a great way to kind of meet face-to-face and start developing those relationships. And I just wanted to highlight, I think these conversations are really crucial in kind of bridging the gap between WCMA and prospective students who are interested in this profession. Obviously, we talk a lot about wanting to get young professionals interested in local government. And so I think this is a really important program to start getting, college students who study political science or other fields interested in local government work. And then I also wanted to highlight potentially 2 liaison meetings per year. So the first would be kind of today's meeting. So going over expectations and really just getting some feedback on how this is going and how we can improve. And then we've been brainstorming possibly a second meeting in January that would be with you all, the liaisons, and also potentially the college and university contacts that you're working with, and doing kind of a big meeting where we talk with them about what are best practices for reaching students, how can we improve, things like that. I thought that might be an interesting way to kind of continue that conversation and get more information on how we can do better. Next slide, Gabe. And then I just wanted to highlight, how can WCMA help students? Obviously, you're kind of the WCMA contact, and so there are a number of ways that you can help students kind of get more connected with our profession. So WCMA has lots of handouts, educational resources on this profession. I know ICMA does as well. So if students are interested but want to learn more, there's a lot of resources out there that they can learn more about the profession. WCMA also has an internship grant program. This provides financial assistance to communities who want to set up internships. So if you're talking with a student, they maybe talk to a manager who would be interested in having an internship but may not have the funding. WCMA is trying to kind of help bridge that gap by providing some financial assistance. So that's a great opportunity for students to maybe intern in their hometown or something like that. Also connecting students to managers in their area. Again, if they're interested in, meeting their hometown manager, you could provide that kind of assistance in connecting them there. Identifying potential internships or jobs in the local government area, again, just being a resource to students and helping them kind of navigate that. And finally, just answering questions and providing insight into the profession. I think WCMA can really be a resource to these students, and we're obviously a tight network. And so just really kind of bridging that gap and helping them find people that can answer questions and provide resources to them. So with that, I'll turn it over to Gabe.
So I'm leaving my camera off just because of lag, but we had some discussion questions that we wanted to go over with the group, just open-ended. to help other people on the call and then those who are recording it for. So how often are you reaching out to schools now? Have you found the number to be successful? Are you reaching out? And we're not judging at all. We just kind of want to know what is the expectations that are being shown currently.
Tyler's emails for me was always the reminder if I hadn't had any contact. But if Adam is still comfortable taking the reign on being the Ripon College designee, I will no longer lean into Alumni Weekend as my only opportunity to get in touch with that school, because that's honestly my only other touch point anyone else can speak to.
I would second what Jen said. Those emails from Tyler helped tremendously. We currently have an intern right now working on elections, and she's from Carthage. She has the best name on the planet, Isabella Graziano. So in any event, it's been very valuable for the Village of Mount Pleasant. But I'm with Jen, got to have those push emails because, you know, our lives are crazy.
How often would you want those push emails? Twice a year? Every quarter? Just a quick reminder, hey, twice?
Twice a year. Been working just perfect.
Maybe like 2 to 3 weeks out from when you want the communication to actually get out to the schools.
And I got to tell you, having that form letter that you guys have, that Tyler's been working on is fantastic. You know, make this as no brainer as you can and as easy as it can be for all of us is very helpful. And I thank Tyler for that.
For those liaisons who are away from the school, because some of you may be in the vicinity where you can connect hands-on or face-to-face, which I think is the preferred route. But, you know, like my alumni school is UW La Crosse. You know, I'm not in the vicinity of La Crosse, and same with Kansas. So I think if any of liaisons are in that situation, I think sending out the email is great, but then a follow-up phone call with someone in the department or something would be helpful. I know by just doing that, you know, I was able to get a few phone calls with some students who, you know, some it was helpful and some it wasn't, but that's okay to at least establish that connection. You know, setting up virtual meetings with students, you know, is a good alternative too. So those are some ways that if you happen to be a liaison a little further away from your school, that you can still try to have those personal connections with them.
And if you guys can't, I mean, I'm sure Carthage would be just thrilled to claim me, but I am not a Carthage grad. I'm a UW Milwaukee grad, and I kind of took that assignment because it was close. You know, as we move forward, there's a graying tsunami. I'm one of them who are going to leave the profession. The closer it is, the easier it is to offer those internships to the local kids. I would highly recommend it. So I had no affiliation with Carthage before I took this job. So if my recommendation would be to keep administrators close, at least physically closer to the college. But, you know, that's just my opinion.
You know, I agree with you, Maureen. You know, I'm for Alverno, but it's not as easy for me to get to Alverno as it would be to get to, you know, the college here in Washington County. So, so I agree. You know, maybe it's making, you know, somebody the liaison who not necessarily is an alumni, but is just close to that university and can provide some support.
And it's easier for the interns too. I mean, we're, you know, 99% of the time, when I had mine, it was, Tyler, what do you want me to do with this person? Well, do you have a job there? Well, we'll make one. So it usually happens that easily, right, Tyler?
So next question, what have been the best techniques for staying connected with schools? Has anybody found a really good way to keep yourself reminded, or a good way to, you know, connect with email, calling? And then the first, second, third questions can kind of be merged, who have you found to be the best contact and the most successful avenue to reach out to?
I would say to the last, your last question there, Gabe, a smaller school, which is where I came out of, your better bet is to be in contact with that department chair because you have really close relationships between students and their department director. Career development was really not strong in the smaller school I came out of, but that's my experience.
So I'll just add, I'll take over Ripon College because it just makes sense, Jen, so I can do that. This morning, I had our final interview with the intern that we will be hiring from Ripon College. I reached out to the department chair there a few months ago talking about this idea, went back and forth with them. He happens to be the spouse of one of my council members, so it's been an easy connection to make, but yeah, being small and literally 2 blocks away from campus, it's been very easy, and they've been very excited to work with us and kind of create a new position. So then it was just sort of getting the word out. So talking to the department chair, reaching out to other departments that may have not just be political science, but maybe there's environmental sciences, or there's some other, some other student that may have an interest in local government, but may not even know it yet, and not in the politics and government field of study. So I did reach out to career development as well, and they blasted it out and put it in their emails and things like that. So, we launched, we had 7 students apply to be an intern for me, and I picked one today. So it was pretty easy, frankly.
I also want to let everybody know too on this call that we just put up a video that we did with ELGL up on the WCMA website under emerging leader. Well, it's under the profession. Well, I can send it to everybody. I can't remember exactly what it's under, but it's a lot of people talking in different areas of our profession. So some firefighters, police, library, we have a bunch of different people on there just talking about their position and how they got into local government and some things like that. So I suggest everybody take a look at it and also promote it to those you have connections with, just because I think it's a great thing that people can play in their classrooms that will give them more of an idea of just working in the public sector for local government.
And if anybody has anything they can add, but going on to that next question, is there anything that you guys need from us that we aren't currently providing or don't know to provide? We're here to help you guys succeed. So is there anything else that you need of us?
My big ask would be to have a current list of communities with available internships, which is a moving target. But if you ever get somehow a student that says, oh, I'd really love to have an internship, and you're not able to provide that opportunity yourself, it'd be good to point them in those directions.
You know, I almost wonder, Tyler, if there's not a part or a place on WCMA's website where not only, where we have the job announcements, if we can have a separate thing for internships that people can just go to and they can, send it to Allie or Dawn or whoever is doing that in the near future to place that on the website. I mean, I'm assuming people already do that, but I don't know. I haven't really looked for internships on there before, so. But it would be nice if we had like another tab that was just for internships.
Yeah, and then to build on that, I think we could talk with Dawn on once a quarter, just doing a general inquiry you know, on the email listserv asking, you know, to take a look at that site, and if you have an internship that isn't posted on there, to do so. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Thanks, Jen.
Thanks again for sending that.
All about working smart, guys. We move fast.
But is there any, I don't know, does anybody attend job fairs or anything like that, that they would like pamphlets about our profession? I mean, I've been seeing some great things that Dawn has been sending us that ICMA puts out. That's like, you know, drawing books for kids about our profession, you know, or just, you know, there's curriculums out there for if one of us were to go and talk in front of a class at a university. I mean, is any of those things something that would be beneficial that maybe we can work on as the emerging leaders group to put together to have for you?
My best experience or closest experience to this, Erin, was at UWM, their grad schools all have like the grad school fair, and you have booths. And I could probably talk to Doug at UWM and then our other affiliates in the area about like, yeah, the grad school's a great concept, but you should probably know about the job too. Maybe they let us do joint.
Well, and we were also thinking about the undergrads. So I know Tyler, Chris said he couldn't attend today, but he said that he's talked to you. So I don't know if he's talked more about that, but we want to get the undergrads too, because they're not going into the grad programs, and getting them at the undergrad level, at least they could start in the field then while they're doing their grad program and kind of understand the concept and maybe work at the lower positions to get a better understanding of.
Yeah, to build off that, Erin, I think if you talk with anyone that's affiliated with the graduate programs right now, one of their talking points is they're not even getting enough applicants. So
Right.
If we're starting to really focus on the root of the problem, as far as, you know, replacing that next generation in our profession, I think we have to start earlier. So that's, if you look at the spreadsheet, the liaisons, a lot of you are actually not just graduate programs, but undergraduate programs. So we can concentrate on, you know, students who are trying to figure out what profession they even want to get into. And I think even starting at the high school level and talking with juniors and seniors before they get to, you know, undergraduate programs isn't a bad idea either. You know, a lot of us have struggled to hire seasonals. And so, you know, not only are we talking about, you know, trying to get people to enter the management profession, but for all of our seasonals and that type of help, this is another opportunity you can utilize, you know, some of these students to help get, you know, at least some municipal experience and some municipal exposure really early on. So we can kind of hit a few problematic areas on our hiring and recruitment efforts here that I think could help.
When I was at the University of Iowa, there was I think my political science department hosted a panel on local government, and it was just like, you know, a city manager and, you know, a couple other positions. And I thought that was very valuable. And I saw a lot of political science students who just attended just because they were curious, but, you know, weren't sure if they, you know, wanted to go into local government, but kind of just attended just because they were interested. And I thought that was a great way to engage students and get them interested in the field.
And I know
think
that's
I think what's helpful too is just share the story of how you got into the field. I think, you know, when I look at myself, you know, 18 to 20 years old, I was putting so much pressure to think I needed to know what I wanted to do. And that's just not the case. And so I think if we all share, you know, our ways that we kind of stumbled into the profession, I think it will show students that, like, you don't have to have everything figured out. And I think it'll make it a little, you know, less intimidating for them to explore that too. So that would be another tip that I would recommend.
Well, and I think that video too, Tyler, really grasps onto that. And I think it's actually worse for kids nowadays. I think the expectation of them knowing what they want to do is even greater than it used to be. And so, I don't know. I know you guys are our liaisons for the universities. I mean, do we need to have a separate liaison group for high schools? That's a lot to monitor, but do we need to really gather people who want to be liaisons for their high schools and have that conversation so that we can get people involved in their schools more? Or should we just allow it to happen naturally? Or, I want to be the resource so that there's more information out there that they can provide to their schools, but I don't know.
No, Aaron, to answer that question, I don't know if we need a separate group. I think, when there's the next WCMA board meeting and we're talking about the strategic plan, which actually is going to be adopted next month, like a goal or expectations of members should be to visit a classroom once a year. I mean, if we ask all managers to do that as a goal, to do that once, I think we would be shocked to kind of see some of the revelations involved as far as the recruitment efforts. So that would be, I don't know if someone else has a different opinion, I'm all ears, but I think this is so important. I think everyone needs to take ownership of it and have it as an action item.
And I think between the managers and the assistants that we can make at least one classroom visit a year work. It shouldn't be that difficult. We talk to the school all the time anyways.
And then here's Lauren and I's contact information. If you have any questions or when you do get emails from us, those will be the emails that you receive it from. So other than that, I think that's about all we have.
I just wanted to thank Gabe and Lauren for taking this on. Tyler's done a great job of putting this together, and we really want this to continue. So thank you so much for taking this on and scheduling this meeting. I think one thing that we were going to ask everybody was whether or not we think that there should be a group discussion with your universities and your university contacts included, so that we all talk together. I know we had talked about it, Tyler, please correct me if we had decided upon something else, but okay. There's a lot going on lately, so I can't, all my ducks are not always in a row. So, but yeah, does this group feel that would be beneficial if we contacted, the people you have listed down as the contacts as well, and just had a group discussion and say, hey, how, because I don't know about you, but my connection, we have a great conversation and then nothing happens because, it just, and so it's great to hear some positive things that are going on, but I also noticed that not everybody's here today. So I'm wondering if some of those connections just aren't being made or aren't as easy as they should be. And so I just wasn't sure if maybe having that conversation with those universities would be beneficial to say, hey, what do you guys need? How would it, is the timing not correct on when we send these emails? What would be better? How can we improve this communication so that we can get some things organized well in advance?
This is Ben from Bellevue. This is the first time I'm on this committee, so I look forward to reaching out to St. Norbert's. And Alex, maybe I'll fight you for Green Bay in the future, but until then, I think I need to reach out to St. Norbert's and rebuild that with Wendy Scattergood and see how that fits in with her needs. But trying to coordinate a big gathering may be beneficial, but may be really difficult to do too. Mm-hmm. So I think I need to reach out to her and just learn a little bit more of what she would like and how we can partner, and then kind of report back.
Do you think maybe a survey, for when we could create a survey, so when you guys do go out to your contacts, you can maybe give them the survey and say, could you take this, and maybe you guys can help us with questions that everybody would benefit from, like when to send these things out, when's the best time to connect, how can we get involved in your classrooms, I don't know, just to get some of that vital information that maybe we're not asking when we talk to our contacts.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Then they can give us feedback on, other, what's worked for them and in other contexts that they may be on the city management profession. That makes a lot of sense.
Okay. Well, I mean, the emerging leaders group can definitely put something together to try to get some information from our contacts about how to make it easier and connect people more. Thank you, everybody, for attending this.
Yeah, no, thank you all very much. I look forward to being a part of this.